Good afternoon everyone, welcome back to your beloved chess speedrun. As usual, today we are playing 4 games, hopefully end up with higher elo than what we started with, and without any further ado, let's get into today's content. First game I got a guy from China, probably my first ever Chinese opponent, makes sense because Chinese people prefer their own version of chess called
象棋
instead. e4, duck on e5. e6. That allows me to develop my bishop c4. Very generous. Knight c6. He's not even blocking my d-pawn, d3. My opponent disconnected. That was fast. Second game, let's go. Imagine winning all these games and then it only takes one loss to lose absolutely everything. e4. c5. Alright, right off the bat I know this guy is definitely not a beginner, let's not get fooled by his ratings, and the guy created his account just 2 weeks ago. Bishop c4, duck on e6. d5. That blunders a pawn. Well, at least I think that is a blunder, maybe he has something under his pants. We don't know. Knight f6. I'll pretend like I'm blundering that pawn, d3, and not even blocking the queen's attack. He fell for it. Bishop takes d5, block the queen from a recapture. e6. Bishop back to c4. In case you are wondering why didn't I just move back to b3, it's because from here he will probably keep putting his duck on d2 to block my other bishop. So I need to keep e3 available for a potential future
fianchetto.
Queen a5 check. Bishop d2, I'll block his queen from coming back. e5. Knight f3. Bishop d6. Queen e2. Queen b4. Dude. As soon as I started attacking the center, he quickly counter-attacked on the side, a3, duck on b3. This is very annoying though, I may have to keep the duck blocking his queen for the next couple of moves. Queen b6. Knight c3. Bishop g4. I need to set the duck free as soon as possible, so the only practical way to do it is to get rid of the problem. He went all the way back. Bishop a5, duck on b6. I may have to regret this though, my bishop is literally one move away from getting trapped. Queen d7. Queen e4. Trading my knight with his bishop isn't exactly very optimal for this variant, but I want to make progress as soon as possible, as my development is significantly better than him, and not to mention that I'm actually up a piece. Bishop takes f3. G takes f3. That bishop a5 was too greedy from me. f5. Queen h4. Bishop e7. Okay, I'm not trading that. Queen h5 check, duck on g6. Castle. Aha. A few days ago I got my king
En passant.
in a drawback chess video. But this is not drawback chess. I'm not gonna move my queen to e8 just to check out if it works or not. Bishop c3 instead. To be fair, it's not like I need that to win this game anyway. He literally castled straight into my piece's attacking zone. The game shouldn't last more than 10 moves from here. g6. That weakens h6, duck blocking the knight from coming out. e4. Pushing center pawn at this point is just giving me free tempos. Bishop f6, duck on f7. Every trade benefits me, since I'm up in materials, and it thins down his king's defensive lines. Bishop takes f6. That blunders a royal fork. Knight takes f6 double check. And I think he gave up on resisting. Queen takes h7 would have made an absolutely amazing triple check, But unfortunately I didn't see that during the game. My right hand moved faster before my brain could recognize that. Knight takes g8. Second game is a win. Third game, let's go. Third game, after e4 c5. Something unexpected happened. I fell asleep. I lost the game by the default, and got minus 16 points of elo. Very unfortunate. Please understand that I was recording at midnight. But then I went to make my coffee. Final game, let's go. Final game is a 2000 rated opponent. Absolutely insane. Just winning this one game will earn me back all the elo loss from the last game. e4. c5, duck on d3. At this point onward I will be playing c5 as black's first move, or e5 in case it is prevented by the duck. f4. Very aggressive. d6. Knight f3. I see this guy is blocking my knight instead of my bishop. He is using the strategy that I came up last video and quickly turned down within the same video. g6. Maybe it actually works though. I mean, he is a lot higher rated than me, so he probably knows something that I don't. c3. Very aggressive. Bishop g4. Need to attack quickly, or else he's gonna dominate the center. Knight g1. Honestly, that is not even a bad move. Bishop h6. Duck on d3. Please feel free to pause the video here and try to figure out why I didn't block his queen from taking my bishop. It's gonna help your duck chess journey a lot in case you want to try out this variant. And I will give you guys a few seconds to do so. h3. As you can see, my opponent didn't take my bishop, and right now I will explain the whole idea behind this massive tactic. Feel free to pause the video right here as well in case you haven't figured it out. And the answer is, it was a blunder. There is absolutely no tactic. As I said, I was playing at midnight, and my opponent obviously missed it as well. Just queen g4, duck f6, very simple. But instead we got bishop h5, duck on g4. At some point I'm gonna sacrifice this bishop for tempos at attacking his king. Bishop e2. That blunders a pawn. Bishop f3. He wants knight e2 guarding the two weak dark squares, but there's nothing I can do about that. Knight f6. At this point I think we can say that I am very winning in the early game, but since I have almost no experience with duck chess endgame, crazy things may happen if I fail to end this game quickly while I still have the advantage. d3. I have to trade one of the bishops. Pretty obvious it has to be this one. Knight takes f3. e5. Duck on e2 not only blocks his bishop but also removes the square from his knight's development. This strategy is specifically useful as his e-pawn is also helping me negate his own knight. Castle. He's not even scared. Knight h5. Queen a4 check. Castle. Now I'm curious. He didn't do it. But that blunders a bishop. Now he's gonna lose one of the rooks as well. I don't think there is a way to save both of them. He counterattacks the center. I'll let him be. I'm negating my own development though, have to take that into consideration. He takes d6. There's no reason to take the rook yet. Knight g3 first. I'm not trading my knight with his rook though. The duck was just for distraction. My true intention is to attack his e-pawn in the center. Of course he knows it. It's time to take the rook. He saved the other rook, and trapped my bishop with the duck. Well, if I can trade my bishop with his duck I will gladly do so for the rest of the game. Queen takes d6. e5. Queen d3. This is so scary though. I'm up like 8 points of materials, but somehow I always feel like I'm gonna blunder my queen soon enough. Knight e1. Free pawn. Knight b1. This is getting way too dank. Queen trade. He refused it. It looks like a fork, but I think I have queen d1 check. Duck on h2. He has to spend the duck to block this check though. And knight c3 doesn't work because my bishop can just take. And just as I was thinking about knight c3, it happened. His queen rejoined the battle. Knight h5, preventing knight e3. Queen h6. Very aggressive. But that blunders a horsey. And even though I'm being up a ton of materials, I actually failed to end this game quickly. So the game dragged on to move number 50. c2 king g8. I locked his king inside. King g7 check. Free thumbnail materials. King takes g7. The king is the MVP. Plus 14.3, we started at 1762, and now we are 5 points higher than before. Winning 3 games and losing 1. Duck chess speedrun. 200% win rate.